Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday night edition of Into the Night with me, Sean Kelly. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, and also like to thank Carnation for sponsoring the show. Um, wow, what a week! I don't know where you live, but I know here in Pittsburgh it was hotter than hell, up in the 90s, and it was hot. Oh my God. Hey, Patrick Kelly, how are you, man? Stick around. Um, yeah, we ate out a lot. It was like too damn hot to cook. And the only good thing about it is where I work at, it's like 48 degrees in the meat room, so everything was really cold. I had an interesting week. Everything seems to go according to plan, and my higher power or my spirit guides or whatever, they threw a little extra nice things into my week. So life is great. Life is really good right now. I want to say this Tuesday coming up on Into the Night, I'm going to have Roy White on. We are going to talk about Bloodfest that is happening down in the farm, um, Duda's farm down in where Greene County, I think it is. I'm not sure. He'll kill me if I don't do it. But it's called Bloodfest. It's two nights in July, and it's going to be interesting. July 13th and the 27th. We'll get into it more on Tuesday, so please, if you're really interested in it, stop on by on Tuesday night, and we're going to talk to Roy White. Um, but I tell you what, I have a great show tonight. I have a very, very good friend on as a guest tonight, and you know, I've known Rhonda for wow, God, it seems like ages, and we have investigated together. I haven't. We like investigated her place, 10 Secret Treasures. It's an antique shop down there in Charleroi, and we would hold investigations, during Halloween. And she's a good person, really kind-hearted, the whole 9 yards. But we were talking the other day, and she brought up about the afterlife, how it coexists with the paranormal. And I was like, wow, what an interesting topic. And I kind of asked her if she would like to be on my show tonight. And she said, yeah. And I was so excited that she did decide to come on tonight. So I'm going to read a little bit of her bio because it's like 7 pages long. She can see me. All right, but if I can get my thing up, because in this weather, I tell you what, it's screwing with all the electricities, and I don't know. But Rhonda, she is a mother of 9 children, grandma of 35, and great grandmother of 6. She was born in Washington County and went to Fort Cherry High School. Later, she went to the Penn Commercial Business Academy, majoring in business administration and accounting. Hey, Cindy Simpson, good to see you, hon. So she is a business owner of Tim's Secret Treasures, and she has a lot more stuff that she does. And maybe we can get to a little bit of it tonight. She has been on My Ghost Story on A&E Network, on the Bio Channel, CBS Radio, and TV numerous times regarding the paranormal and helping those who struggle with addiction. She is the co-founder of Aura Paranormal, involved in numerous recovery community organizations. She runs 3 groups on Facebook and involved in numerous activities. I strongly believe in God, the paranormal, and the spiritual realm. Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, hey girl, good to see you, hon. I hope you're being cool up there. It's hotter than hell where I'm at. And without further ado, Christopher James says, good evening, Sean. I absolutely love your voice, and it sometimes can put me to sleep. I love you, and keep up the great work, Sean. Thank you, Christopher. Glad that Kathy Leah. Hi, everyone. Hi, Rhonda. I live in the same town as your store. Okay, I got to get her on because everyone's looking to see her, talk to her. And without further ado, my friend Rhonda Jaquay. Hi,
Hello, everybody. Hi, Sean.
how are you doing?
All pretty good. A little bit hot too, just like you. How about yourself, other than all this heat?
My friend Cindy Simpson, she said her power's been off for about 8 hours so far today.
Oh,
So, but
yeah.
try to get ice and just ice yourself down, Cat Cindy. Seriously, I feel for you. It is so good to see you, hon, and I'm so grateful that you did come on to the show. Um, so, tell us about the Aura Paranormal before we get
Um,
into the
yeah,
afterlife.
it's kind of funny. I think I'll start just a little bit before Sean. I have an antique store down in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, Washington County. And actually, CBS Radio had decided to come out to our place for a haunted Halloween venue thing they had on the radio live. Hi, Carrie Lynn. Anyway, what happened was Sean's team came down with the CBS radio station, and I ended up one of the people that was on his team, Shelly. We got to be pretty good friends, and later on, when she started the group, we talked about it. Me, her, and Ron, and a guy named Chris decided we were going to put one together. We actually have done investigations with Sean prior and later on. I really like him a lot. We get along well, and there's a lot of people that thinks all those new fanangled gadgets are, all you ever hear is knock knock, this that, and we're still into the old school realm with the video recorder and different things because you pick up much more evidence. But
Yes.
anyway, we started our paranormal, and anyway, one of our team members passed away. He was a wrestler and well known. One of the other guys is actually a videographer for all the movies downtown Pittsburgh. But like I said, I've always, the head of our team, Shelly, she's a nurse
My
now.
girl, my girl,
Yep, yep. So
my
she's
girl.
pretty busy, and so anyway, I'll pick the phone up and call Sean. Hey, Sean, we need to get an investigation done, and he's right there. So.
I remember the one time we were down there at Halloween, and you had that radio station there,
Mm.
and he was interviewing Shelley, and he was trying to pin her up against me, man. And what Shelley said was, "That man is my mentor. I am, you know what I mean." She just really
Yep.
ripped into the boy's ass, and I was like, "Yeah, you go, girl, you go." But
Yep.
those were they were a lot of fun when we investigated, and
Oh yeah.
we weren't serious about um, the investing. We were serious, but not serious.
Hmm.
We just did what we had to do, and we had fun doing it. So that's what.
You remember the fire station we did with you?
Oh yeah! Oh my God! Yeah, that was a long ride. That was a long ride, but it was fun. It
Yes.
was fun. We've done so many, and maybe I'll get you on here in a couple months from now, maybe around
Okay.
October, and we can talk about our investigations.
Okay.
But what I really want to get into is when we were talking the other day, you were
Mhm.
talking about the afterlife slash paranormal, and it
Yes.
was quite intriguing to me. And I really never thought about putting two and two together. Okay, so I figured let you come on and talk about it, and the platform's yours, hon.
Well, let me see. I hear everybody talk about being empaths, this, that, or the other, and there's a common ground for you to feel things. And it's kind of like when I was little, I was scared to death of the dark. I got to be a teenager, I'd go out on that road and hitchhike late at night. But you try to put me in my house by myself late at night, it was so hard and difficult. And I didn't understand things back then. And when I bought the antique store, the guy told us, the previous owner, oh, I don't work in here until after 4 or 5 because things happen. I kind of blew it off. Well, things started happening. And the more that happened, it's like you keep opening more doors. So I ended up getting physically hugged in that store. Matter of fact, when Shelly, that was in your group, came out, it happened right there while she was in the room setting up the equipment. And that shook me till no end. And I have to tell you, after that happened, I would go places and I could feel spirit. And then as it kept going on, like the only way I can explain it is if you go into a mall, you keep going into different stores, you just keep opening doors and things continue to happen. So the more curious you get, the more involved, the more that's going to happen. So
Hmm.
things that you already had, they're coming out. And I got to the point where my husband hated going anywhere with me. We went in a restaurant, and the woman came over to wait on me, and I said, do you have a spirit? He's a male. He comes through that door back there. And I started telling her, kind of about how old he was and stuff. And then here she goes back in the kitchen, brings the owner out. And the owner sits down at my table and said, why did you just ask her those questions? And so I told her. And then she goes, well, I'm going to tell you, you're spot on.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and so I got shook after a while because I went out with the Washington Observer newspaper to a person's home with Shelley and myself on a daytime investigation. I did a walkthrough, and I told them where all the spirits was, whether it was a man, woman, or kid. Um, and like I said, it just a lot of things kept happening, but I got scared because I thought, well, I don't want to start seeing spirit. So I was kind of try to back off a little bit. But when my mom died in a car accident 5 years ago, in the morning, my husband, he'll usually get up sometimes and he'll get ready and he'll come back and he'll lay on the bed beside me. And so I felt somebody lay on the bed beside me. And at first I thought it was him. And so then I thought, no, it felt like a lot more weight and I knew it wasn't him. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? He must have left that door open. So I remembered I had the scissors beside my bed the night before. I was cutting coupons. And so I kind of turned over a little bit and I went to reach for the scissors. And when I turned around, let me tell you something. My mother was laying on the bed beside me.
Oh,
And she was,
okay.
yeah, she was blue, just like I saw her at the hospital before they took her. And so I'm asking her questions, and at first, she's not answering me. And then finally, I said, you're scaring me. I can't continue to do this. Will you answer me? And I remember I asked her, are you with grandma? And she says, in time. That's all she ever said to me. Let me
Hmm.
tell you something. She just disappeared as quick as she was there. So at first I'm thinking, okay, I'm going crazy. I must have had a dream. I really didn't see her. I get up out of bed and I have track lighting in my bedroom. So, when you get a power surge, your lights kind of like turn blue or whatever.
Right, right.
Well, what happened was every light in my upstairs turned purple. And
Oh,
I thought to myself, what is going on? And so my normal routine is to go downstairs, get myself iced tea, go to the bathroom, whatever. I come back up the stairs and I'm shook. I'm still shook. So I said, I wanted to see this movie. For some reason, Heaven is for Real. I needed to see it and I felt there was a message. So I get online and I'm looking, and she died back in January. And then I looked online and that didn't come out, the movie, till right before Easter.
oh
Well,
wow.
as I'm doing that, I come across YouTube videos for near death life experiences, and I see this man and he's talking and he said, I went to heaven. He said, and, all my pastor friends, he said, I thought they would be there. He said, but they weren't there. He said, there was a couple there. And I didn't know what was going on. It was just weird. So as he went on to say, to get into heaven is not about going to church every Sunday. It's to have faith and by what you do with your heart, and not by, the function of Sunday church and everything. So anyway, right as he said that, I'm not shitting you. I felt like something above me came down, and I don't know whether it was my mother, God, spirit, who, but I could feel needles all through my body, and I felt the most contentment I've ever felt in my life. And I laid my hands down, and whatever it was, I just let it come in me.
Right. That
And
sounds like an angel there.
yeah, well, it only lasted for, a few seconds, and
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden it was gone. So I'm thinking about everything that happened in succession. Now, I was questioning myself about seeing my mother. I did see my mother. She was there. It did happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I knew, not only from that experiences, but a few other ones, that there is life after death and there is another realm. I lost my son a few years ago, 3 years to be exact. And I keep hoping I'll see him, or, I get signs and things, but I haven't seen him like I did my mother. And I don't know why some people see people and others don't. I don't know. But I also know a few people who had near death experiences. One of my friends and one of my customers from down the store. And I'm telling you, there's so many stories out there of people that's experienced it. Um, it's definitely for real.
I kind of like agree with you on that. But I'd like to ask you about the signs. Now, that was part, I had a problem with the signs, and I would get so many, and I would like say to Spirit, I'm like, why are you showing me this? Why are you telling me this? And this has been, I mean, I had a lot of years in the paranormal field,
Mhm.
I really did. And I was still, getting signs from up above or my spirit guide, whatever. And it took me a long, hard time to understand what they meant. Um, but what what kind of signs did you receive? And when you received those signs, did you have a problem with those signs?
Well, I think some signs we actually miss. Oh, I'm sorry, Roland. And believe me, I know what it's like to lose a
Sorry,
child.
Roland.
Um, but if a lot of times you miss the signs because you really don't know, and it's an afterthought. You'll finally piece it together. But the first sign I got when my son passed away was I was taking pictures because I list online for my store, and out the window I saw this bluebird, and I'm thinking, what? It looked so weird. So I opened the curtain, and it was a blue jay, and the body of it was so camo blue. I couldn't believe it. It was like it was nothing I'd ever seen before. So I'm taking my camera and I'm trying to get outside and I'm trying to take a picture of this bird. By the time I get out there, it flew off. But guess what? I thought about it and I thought, you know what? My son used to always like to wear like camo shorts and different things.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I connected it, but sometimes you don't connect it right away.
hmm Roland says he received a sign from God telling him on the day that she died that she would be okay. We were full of storms here where we were. The cloud split. There was a sun ray, just on her bedroom. And then I came in to bring dinner, and she had already passed. He also says birds are a definite sign of related ones that have passed that come to see you and visit you and give you spiritual strength. I totally agree with you, Roland. It's crazy, man. There's like, I am followed by two birds, cardinals and ravens. Those are the two birds that follow me all the time. And I understand the cardinals. When I see the cardinals, I know it's my dad. There's no doubt about it, because he liked cardinals. The ravens, though, I don't know. There's like a mixed metaphysical situation, and different religions have different things about the ravens. So, kind of like figuring what that is about. He says that is white and dark. They will always be there. That's true.
Mhm.
And so when I know you were really, really close to your son, and I met him a couple times.
Yeah.
Very nice kid, very, very nice kid. Um, Whenever you were doing investigations, did you feel him there? Did somehow that you felt protected? Because I tell you what, everybody, he's a big boy too. He's a big boy, and I was wondering if you kind of felt, hey, he's my angel now, so he's going to protect me. Could you,
Yeah,
relate on that?
I definitely feel that, but I have to tell you something. I pretty much, after he died, I kind of shut down. I went numb. So everything that I felt before and everything that went on, it was not there any longer. I didn't feel it anymore until probably a few months ago. Now, it took me time to grieve, to be able to, like, I don't know, you mechanically function because it's so difficult. So the way I'm able to deal with his loss is by thinking he's on vacation.
Right.
Um, And that's the way I continue to go through. Plus, I have all the other kids and grandkids that I have to continue to go on for. But I definitely know that he watches over me, and there's different things that'll happen or that'll go on that it's like validation, and it's like certain songs. Like I didn't used to be able to listen to them; I just break down crying. But now I get it. Like there's certain songs that comes on at certain times, and when you have a dream, a lot of times your loved ones will come to you definitely in dreams, and you know when it's you know the difference between something that's in your subconscious and something that's real because you feel it. And
Hmm.
they come to give you messages, but sometimes you miss the messages,
Right.
you know. So you definitely have to pay, thank you, Cindy. You definitely have to pay attention to those dreams because there is a message in them to bring out to help you. And those signs are messages too to let you know that they're all right. But we definitely, there's people that had near death experiences and they come back to talk about it. And my son used to always tell me, there was one thing I went back on because when you first lose your son or your daughter, you kind of remember things like you hit on the bad things. When somebody passes, the first thing you think, because he struggled with addiction. So
Yes.
the first thing is he with God? Is he in heaven or he in hell? And then I had to fight that. I had to shake that. And I'm like, hell no, he's not there because he had a good heart. And even in addiction, he took care of everybody else and he was the worker bee. And he would give you the shirt off his back in the last dollar. And I have to say, I'm not like that. But he was. So I was able to be comfortable and know that he was in a good place and he's not suffering any longer.
When
But
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
that's
Yeah.
okay. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you. I know that you work with the people in addiction. God
Yeah,
bless you. God bless
thank
you.
you.
And with the loss of your son, um, how does it make a little bit more easier for you to help people, or is it, or do you just like clam up and just like I can't do this because I'm like still grieving my son.
Well, you know what? Me and him had even talked about that when he was living, and he used to always tell me, "Mom, you just don't know the extent of addiction." And I used to say, "Yeah, yeah, whatever. I've been around the block." But then after he passed, and I really got more in depth with things, I realized he was true and correct.
Hmm.
Um, it's so big, and it's become a cash cow that I can't sit back any longer because you have all these counties and states. Everybody sue for money for the death. They use our kids as numbers and they get money rolling in. But we're not in the decision process. They're not transparent. They do whatever they want when they want. So that's what keeps me going. And as far as dealing with people in addiction, being that close, I went to help the families. I started with helping people who struggle with addiction, and I still, do what I can. But the families are left here grieving, and I also try to work with them. But anytime, that there's a real good recovery place that they've helped so many people down in Charlotte called Club Serenity Inc. They're going to be having a thing, Rock for Recovery, in September down at the Aquatorium. And those are good people. They had kept that place running for years out of their own personal pocket. And they
Hmm.
strive to not only help people who struggle with addiction, but their families. Very good people, very open, and I help them whenever I can. So any help that I'm given to anybody else, I know that my son is happy that I'm doing that. And I wish I could have had him still here. But, I think that when it's our time to leave, no matter what you do for somebody, you can't stop progression of death. You have a time that you're here, you have work to do. When your work is done, then you'll be gone too, and you'll get to see them again.
I believe that, Rhonda. I totally believe that. Real quick, Roland says, I just wanted to say you're an honorable lady for taking the fight on, and you keep fighting this right, and you keep doing it right, and keeps the struggle as there it is real for those who have never lived it. They will never know it, but the struggle is real, and bless you. And
Thank you.
Margarita says, praise the Lord. You know.
Thank you, Margarita.
And but back to you were saying like I've been sober since January 21st, 1991. Okay. And
Congratulations, Sean.
thank you. And the first 15 years of my recovery, I would do 4 or 5 AA meetings a week. Okay. And one day I was at a meeting over at St. Catherine's in Beachview, and I was sitting there, and something dawned on me. It's like I looked at all the old timers that were sitting in the same chairs, talking to the same thing, and they go to every freaking meeting there was. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, AA really got me going. I mean, trust me, I'm not knocking AA at all. But what
Mhm.
I'm trying to say is, after 15 years, I'm looking at the old timers, and I'm grateful for them. But you know what? There's more to life than AA for me, and this is just my story. And so, believe it or not, Rhonda, that's when all of a sudden I started getting into ghost hunting.
Mhm.
And so, from helping people with addiction, I went into helping people with the paranormal. You know what I mean? And it was just like, wow. Um, it was just like I jumped from one end to the other end. And I am so grateful for you. You know, my heart goes out to you and your family, your husband, Tim. I'm telling you what, good dude, man, good dude. But I would like to get back into the signs again because I have I don't I have a hard time with the signs. No matter how they're just like in front of me, I
Mhm.
just can't seem to like say, no, you're spirit, you're playing with my head. You're doing this, you're doing that. And but I just would like to get to know a little bit more about the signs that you do receive. Like, do you receive them from people that you have helped in addiction that who have passed
Yes.
away?
You know what? I'll tell you, it's funny. God will put you in a lot of situations.
Yeah, he
He
does.
will
Yeah, he
put
does.
people in your path. Listen, there's some jobs I've taken recently. I don't have to work, okay? But I like to work. So, I go to work at a place, I won't name it. And, everybody's coming in, they see me, they say, Rhonda, what the heck are you doing here? You got degrees and this, that, and the other, and you're working here. And I says, it's okay. I'm cool. I'm fine here. So then it ends up where, the assistant manager goes crying in my arms. And so I'm thinking, and then people was coming to me about different problems. So all in a day, I was sent there to help those people. That's what I was doing there. And I knew when my job was done because then I backed off my schedule kind of and my position because I had a higher position and I said, take me back down because I need that time to help people who needs help and I don't want to be working like full time again and craziness. But people's conversations, sometimes you'll converse with somebody and you won't get that message until later on down the road, and you'll remember that conversation and
Right.
what they talked about, and it coincides with what you're dealing with at that specific time. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of signs that come to you in a lot of different ways. But if you're not paying attention to them, you're going to miss them.
And I guess that's where my mistake is coming in by not paying attention. I admit that. I'm Irish. I'm stubborn. I got ADHD. So it's like, it's just in and out of my brain real quick. But so again, bless you for helping out the addicts and their families. And you're just a sweet old person. I said,
Well,
I said OLE. I did not say OLD.
yeah, it's funny because I tell you what, sweet, I always laugh. When somebody calls, I say no, because you know what? I had to get a backbone throughout my life and I had to be a fighter because some things you do to help people, it's a treacherous path. So you have to really be strong to, you know, push the obstacles out of your way. Because I'm going to tell you, no matter what it is in life, there's going to be obstacles. and they're going to be there. So you have to figure out. Everybody says, "Oh, I can't do this. I can't get this done." No, you can do it. You just get around that, find an opening around that obstacle, and you can get through it and do what you need to do.
And it might take you a couple tries too,
Yeah.
everybody, to get through there. And sometimes you run into a lot of brick walls, but eventually the brick walls do come around. I'm glad you said that, because that's what I had to deal with when I was working the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. But that's for another show.
But do you
So
realize the circle too? Like,
what's that?
you call it the circle. Like when you meet somebody years ago, I'll give you a quick example here. I worked at this place where the supervisor was really nasty and foul to me. So I left the job because, in a good way, with grace, but I left it because I couldn't deal working with her anymore. So my grandmother had to get a visiting nurse. Guess who knocked at my door one day?
Okay.
So
I it,
your life will go, a lot of people that you meet early on will come in your life later on.
that is the truth. I truly, truly believe it. Like you with mine, there was a good 6, 7 years that we didn't talk, and you were
Yeah.
busy, and then when we do talk, it's just like picking up from the last time we did talk. But real quick, not real quick, yeah, we're good till about 9 o'clock. But what is on your bucket list to go investigate?
Wow. You know what, Sean? I like places that hasn't been walked over 100 times, because
Right.
a lot of times people will go to place. Now I have to tell you though, the Washoe Hotel, like I was telling you the other day,
Hmm.
uh, a friend, I went out there and got married in Virginia City, Nevada, and a friend of mine was friends with him, the guy that owns the place, and so he went ahead and he had his worker bring me down the key and said, "Go ahead, you can stay all night." Let me tell you something. I wanted to, but I was getting married the next day and I couldn't. So I said, "Is it okay if I take a rain check?" But the pictures because we went there for my reception, and the pictures that I got from there in one setting are awesome. Um, but I would like to go someplace, like I said, that hasn't been walked over and over again.
Hmm.
Um, Something that has a good size to it, and something that really has validations, not commercial hype or, just fake facades. Um, a really neat place.
I have a problem with the fake facades too, because at the beginning when Taps actually started doing them, it was really, really interesting to watch. Because no one ever heard of these places, but well,
Mhm.
they're money makers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For that, they don't do nothing with that money except to keep it. And I think you know when you have a passion um, to ghost hunt or to paranormal hunt, but you have to pay an arm and a leg to go to these places. You know what I mean? It to me, Rhonda,
Right.
it just takes out the excitement. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I just put $100 in to go to on this investigation,
Mhm.
and you know what? You come up, time to investigate, and all of a sudden you get sick, something happens, and you won't be able to go, and you lose $100. You know what I mean? I'm like you. I would rather I could go to your house. I can go to Roland's house or Margaretta's house
Mhm.
and probably get better evidence going there than I would.
Yep.
Eastern Penitentiary when I started was 2,500 a night. Okay, to do an all nighter, and there's no way nobody could come up with all that money for 10 people. So what they were doing, they were booking 50 people for an investigation. And you cannot do an investigation with 50 people. You just cannot do it.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? But so you say that it's a place that you never walked on. Well, do you have a name of something that you know of
Well,
that you might want to go?
yeah, I'll tell you what. I was just I have a couple places up here at Conneaut Lake, and I was just talking to a neighbor, and they have a place where they said we're welcome to investigate. They're less than a block from the Conneaut Lake Hotel. Um, and this area here has a lot of activity. Whether it's residents or businesses. Some talk about it, some don't. But, a lot of this town has not been walked on like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of these places have been like mine that I'm in right now here. It was a boarding house for the amusement park. There was 9 bedrooms. There's 6 now. They're pretty huge. And we still left it set up old school with the old cupboards and refrigerators and cabinets, all that stuff. But there's quite a few places up here. And I'm going to tell you, another place is Charleroi, where the store is. I've talked to some of the other business owners down there and people that have private residences. And there's places down there that haven't been touched either. That
Mm-hmm.
would, be a good thing.
So, what's the back history on Charleroi that would make it very haunted?
Well, years ago, and there's pictures all that town used to be just loaded with immigrants from different countries that went there, and it was a bustling town. And even, once I did the research on my store, then I started kind of looking at other people's properties and seeing that they had a lot of background too. And the businesses have changed over so many times and been so many different things. And um, just the town, because of the age and so many people being there, and so many the people, they still refer to it as the Magic City, because there was just so much that went on there. Everybody went to shop there, everybody hung out there. It's changed over the years, but it used to be a bustling place at one time.
And are not wasn't the steel mills down there too?
Yeah, and you know what? You have, like, behind my place, there's railroad tracks, and you've got the river right there. So
Right.
you've got conductors all over the place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Have you? It just I investigated her antique store, and I'm telling you what, ladies and gentlemen, whenever she gets that back open, and give her a call, and I can guarantee that she would be more than happy to let you investigate the place. Would you not?
Yeah, depending, because I've had some real weirdos. So, as long as they're credible. But up here in Conneaut,
Yeah,
actually, there's
the
been a lot of
backstory of
fire.
Conneaut.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fires up here. It used to be the Indians were up here, and they called it snow waters. And there's been a lot of different tragedies and things that happened up here. And I think that resonates throughout the neighborhood. We kind of call it the cloud and the curse. Um, and so I just found that a lot of these boarding houses in different places, you know, some places may have new homes on them, but that doesn't matter. Your location where things went
Right.
on, you could still have things going on in your house. And there's a lot of places in different towns like that.
Have you ever investigated the old Conneaut Hotel? Why don't you tell little people about the Conneaut, how old that sucker is, man?
Oh man, that's very old. I'm not sure the date from when it started. I really haven't delved into that long ago, but I do know that there is many stories where things have happened over at the hotel. I have been in a lot of places. The people that are over there prior to the new owner, there's a guy over there in maintenance, and he had gave us personal tours plenty of times. I do know that one time we rented a room over there, and we couldn't get it open with the hotel key. So everybody kept trying to open our party open it, can't open it. So we go downstairs, get the maintenance guy. He comes up, he can't get it open. So a few minutes later, he walks away, and the door opens. Just opened up. So
I tell you what, though, I was up there for a wedding, and I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you seriously need to Google the Conneaut Hotel and just read the history behind it because it still has the same pipes and stuff like that in there. But we did an investigation. In fact, I did shoot a Paranormal Pittsburgh on that one up there, and it's extremely haunted, and it's so beautiful though on the inside. Um, we had a dog come up with us, and what was crazy, we were in the ballroom, right? And the dog would not step on the floor, the dancing floor.
Mm-hmm.
Would not step. And I'm like, damn, but you could actually feel the energy that is part of the hotel. I remember at night before the wedding, we were sitting out on the deck of the hotel. And honest to God, Rhonda, it just felt like that was back in the 1920s and 1930s. Just sitting there in these old chairs and rocking back and forth. And I'm telling you, it just was so damn eerie.
Well, the
Um,
whole area is like that. And I'll tell you, I was thinking the other day, we went out on a boat with friends, and I'll tell you what, there's been quite a few people that died out in that lake. And I would love to do an investigation right out on the lake.
now, how would you do that though? What could you use?
What could you could use your regular equipment, be right out on the boat.
Okay.
You've got open water there. I mean, spirits are everywhere around us. They come from water, they come from land, from buildings. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think you'd probably be amazed at what we would catch out there on a boat.
She said, Cindy, my friend Cindy, my sister in law stayed once and never again. She was so frightened. Yeah, I'm telling you, you don't know it's coming, it's going to come. But how about the park? Everybody, you got the Conneaut Hotel, but you also got the amusement park Conneaut. I heard there was some hauntings in the park itself.
Well, um, yeah, well, it's the park is no more. It's kind of
I thought they
gone.
were going to reopen that.
Oh man, they're not reopening anything. They're talking about RV campsites over there on the property. Expanding, doing other. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. We're just kind of sitting by and waiting.
Mm,
But property, whether it's the park, the hotel, or because, like I said, my house is a block away, and there's a lot of actual residences that have things that go on inside their homes. And the property right behind me, like I said, I know that they buried chemicals over there.
did they
you know,
really?
oh
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah. So, but there's a lot of things that go on around this area and a lot of places, like I said, because everybody's focus has been on the hotel. You know,
Right.
and that's where they do their investigations, but then there's a lot of other places that hasn't been touched that they don't look at, and so that's what I would like to do the places that's been overlooked.
Well, you know what? We might, in fact, we will probably do that when it gets a little colder out, maybe around in October. And
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, Rhonda even gave me a suggestion that coming up and actually do my talk show here, up in Conneaut.
Yes.
So maybe we could have some video, and maybe I can talk to the manager, the station manager, and see if she'll give us like, pay per view, whatever. But I think it's going to be interesting. I really
Yeah,
do.
I think it
And
would be awesome. I do.
yes, and my people would love it too, because I got the best people in the world that follow me. Um,
Oh, that's
do you talk to Shelly at all?
yeah. Matter of fact, her and I just went and did an investigation. It's been about 3 months ago. We went and did an initial one over in Carrick, and then we're going to go back and do another one. And like I said, if you like, I'd like to have you come along with us.
Okay.
Um, it's a neat place. I don't want to say where it's at because people be ringing their phone off the hook and they don't want that.
Yeah, I
So,
understand that. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it's a business and it's an old fashioned business and it's a neat place. So,
All I know is those were some good times when we investigated. They really, really were.
and
But
I tell you something else, Sean. When we do the one up here at Conneaut Lake, um, I think it would be kind of neat too to because I have a 6 bedroom place, and I think
right.
it would be neat to have a couple of the listeners if they'd like to, like maybe have a contest or something where you pick a couple listeners to come with us.
Oh, that would be pretty cool. What do you think, guys? What do you think of that? Oh, we'll get some new. I don't know. Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll advertise that more. We just got to set a date for that.
Okay.
That would be pretty cool. Oh
Yeah.
man, you just put a smile on my face. I'm really happy that you did that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with the people all over the
Well,
world?
I think really too the people have things to share with us because there's people that have so many different experiences. Um, when they lose people and some people have actually had near death experiences and come back to share what happened with them. So it gives the rest of us hope to know that there's things beyond here. But in that movie, the message that I got was that heaven is different for everybody. So everybody thinks there's one set way that it looks and it's going to be. But I
Hmm.
think depending on what you think it is, it's different for each one of us.
Ah, I like that. I like what you just said. So how you doing with the heat here?
It's miserable. When I see home, I have central air. But
Uh
here at Conneaut, it's a big house, but I don't have central air. So I've got my ceiling fans going. I
huh.
do have air conditioners in the upstairs, and I definitely, after this heat, I need to get some in the downstairs.
We have about 2 minutes left with you.
Okay.
What would you tell a person who wanted to start getting into paranormal investigation? What would you tell them?
I would say, first and foremost, be respectful the way you handle people that you're going out to their places to do the investigations. Be very expedient as you can to get that evidence back to them, because a lot of times people will go and then they won't give the evidence back, and the people are sitting there waiting. Um, just do what's right by people and don't try to make money off of it, and don't try to like act like you know everything, because none of us, I don't care how many investigations we do, whatever goes on, everyone is completely different, and none of us is the expert on anything, no matter who tells you they are, because last time I checked, none of us are dead and came
No,
back,
I
you know.
know. I can't wait till I die, Rhonda, so I can all my questions will be answered.
Yeah,
You
and,
know what I
and,
mean?
and you don't need all that expensive equipment either. Ask Sean; he's been doing this for years. It's neat to have some of the little gadgets, and they're funny as heck. But it's just not worth the money, because a lot of times you'll pick a little digital recorder. You don't even know sometimes till after you're done with that investigation,
Yep.
and you go through and filter that you'll find there's things that was said or happened that you didn't know. And it's not going to be a lot of this stuff like on TV. Oh, I hear him knocking.
Yeah.
you know, like all
Oh my
spirits
God, I got touched. I got touched. I'm
have.
gonna run the room. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you, girl, for
You're
being on
welcome, and
tonight,
thank you.
and
Thank
I
you.
truly appreciate you coming on. We'll have you on in a couple of months, and everybody, seriously, you know, we're going to get a couple people here who enjoy the show, who watch the show all the time, and if they are interested, you can come up and do the overnight investigation with us up in Conneaut, and that would be totally awesome. So
Yes.
I will keep whenever I get a date, then I'll start advertising again. Rhonda, I love you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.
Love you too. Thank you, Sean. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Boy, what a show, huh? Oh, I'm so grateful she came on tonight. Oh my gosh, it just put a smile on my face. That's how it does. Um, I don't know what's going to happen this next week coming up. I just know that it might be still a little hot. So you seriously need to drink that water, cover yourself with ice, do what you got to do. Cindy, I hope your power comes back on soon. Um, just remember, okay, spirits at one time were real people. And like Rhonda was saying, um, you always want to treat the spirits how you want to be. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. You treat the spirits like you want to be treated. So if you show the spirits respect, in return, they will respect you. But if you call them out just to get a stupid yes or no knock on the wall, okay, and you yell and you scream at them, they're just going to look at you and say, I don't have to deal with you, and they're going to walk away. But children, if you can, please go to your parents and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you don't have no parents and if you don't have no children, find someone and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, make the world go around. And on that note, this Tuesday, Roy White, we're going to talk about Bloodfest at the Duda Farms. We're going to catch up on some stuff. And please show up Tuesday night. And on that note, everybody, have a good night. And I shall see you Tuesday night. Goodbye.